You don't know how many times people have asked me that.
Are you serious? Are you serious?
We'll have a main event tomorrow night.
Oh, that's made my whole weekend.
Oh,
So that's awesome.
People ask me that. I had, in fact, there was an actress from Devil's Rejects, who I won't mention who it is, but she was drunk at a convention and went over to, I don't need that. There's 12 people. Went over to DDP and said, "Oh, Kane, it's so good to see you." Thinking he was me. So he and I both think we look alike also.
So we have a triple threat match later with you, Bruce, and Benny.
Yeah.
You do yoga?
We'll do a
You
fight
do yoga?
Not like DDP does.
Nah.
He can suck his own,
Sheena, look. Wow, this is the ride. Hi, I'm Felissa Rose, and
No.
Otter. And I am one of the producers of the film, as well as one of the actresses.
My name is Sean Whalen, and I am one of the actors in the film.
Which, by the way, on that trailer, I love that line you have.
Thank
It's
you.
really very
Right.
well
What,
put.
since we can't see it, can you bring it up?
No, really, I'm not.
I think I say, I know this place is evil. I know you're scared to be here. Something to that effect.
I think it's really good trailer. No joke.
Oh, they can't let the people in.
It's getting crazy now.
You want to open that, or you want to just stare at it?
Isn't that big? You can say what you want, right?
Now this place is evil.
Lexington,
Are we live? It's not connected.
So, yeah, I'm Jan Brooks, and I
Yay!
finished the document. This is the Dead House Man. Yeah, I'm one of the guys that might look like a good guy, but even the doctors are bad.
Yeah.
Nice.
I play Satan. That's true.
And I know it's quite a stretch, but in this movie, I play a very insanely bad guy.
No!
It's a shocker.
It really is. It was hard for me to pull it off.
You like my line in the trailer, but I really love your song and dance number in the trailer. That's my favorite.
We all do a duet.
I play C, who was the head of the prison inmate population, basically. And I think I get kind of screwed over. I think something else is happening, and it's not what I thought.
Yep. And things go wrong.
But I'm actually quite excited about the movie from what I've seen. Because you never know when you're shooting film, you'll be with a great cast like we had, but you never know if it's going to come out the way you hope. And I think this one is. And I think you guys know me well enough to know that I don't bullshit. If I feel good about something, then I really mean it. If I don't feel good about a film, then I won't talk about it very much. So
And why do you do it?
I think the cast is great.
Yeah.
And the story is very interesting. And Harrison did a good job. I love the music that I've heard of it.
Yeah.
We just signed Twisted.
For what? You did?
Whoa, like Twisted, the rap group? Which Twisted?
Yeah.
Really? That is super.
Twisted.
Yeah, I know, you're a huge juggalo.
Fantastic.
I had no idea. Wow, that's really cool. I'm about to write about that. Yeah, that's awesome.
To them, and the song is Nothing to You that I signed.
That's excellent. I love those guys.
And sing.
You heard it first at Scarefest.
So you don't know if that's true, that she was acting.
No, I have the email right now.
That is really good news.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm a big fan of theirs.
That's killer, man.
Okay, so got past that one.
Can't believe that.
No, that was good. And they actually, Twisted is doing an original song for my documentary, too.
Nice. That's really cool.
Wherever we go.
Twisted actually used to sing to me before I went to sleep, and I was fine.
Which explains. Look at him, he's fucking psycho already.
Is that why you got to play Satan?
Yeah, that's why I got to play Satan.
You were a little like on that Satan kind of. Right?
Yeah, just a little.
What was cool about the movie too was the location.
Yeah.
It was a very bizarre old prison that didn't become vacant very long ago, right?
Right? Exactly.
Before we used it.
It's almost as old as Sean Will.
And it has more. And it has more hair.
Everybody has more hair.
Well, that's
Well, he doesn't actually. Neither of those two are got them beat.
Well, another thing with the movie was, I think it was so much evil going on the screen, like on the acting, and then it was so much love behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Everybody got together, and you don't know what to expect with all these different people come together and shoot something.
That's true.
And it was actually.
It was kind of neat
fantastic.
to have all these people in the same room, and we're just hanging out, having fun as artists and actors, and not have ego or problems. It was so fun in that way that it was very easy.
Very nice.
Yeah, there was definitely no ego at all. We were all there to have a good time.
It was like a family.
Yeah.
It was everybody we work with.
We're all friends.
Right.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
all friends.
That's always fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're all friends.
Yeah.
She's friends with benefits.
We're friends with no benefits. And all I'm hoping for is kindness. Or civility. I'll settle for civility.
Oh, that's gonna be hard.
That's going to be hard. It's gonna be hard to go for.
It's hard.
It's very hard.
Oh, killing it.
Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, step up to the mic if you have a question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
certainly couldn't hear you from your seat.
Yeah. Woo.
Hello.
Hi.
How's it going? Editor of 1420 at Elm, and I would like to ask all of you a question, but specifically Kane, you had mentioned, I can't do this. You had mentioned that that obviously you played really iconic killers in the history of cinema. You played Jason 4 times, and you're Victor Crowley. Can you explain Can you explain maybe how you approached it's Sig, right? Can you explain how you approached that character versus any other character? Is it the same, or is it a difference? Or
Oh no, I mean certainly Sieg was far more human than I typically play. With Victor Crowley and Jason, it's kind of almost like an undead being. Certainly with Jason, anyway. That's how I approached it, and Victor just being a crazy, bizarre-looking human, I guess. But Sieg, more of an evil human being that you can see in real life. And it was fun because, with those other characters, no dialogue.
right?
And I've always loved having dialogue, whether it's a good guy or not. It's fun. And if you had asked me 20 years ago if I would be happy just acting instead of doing stunts like I've done for almost 40 years, I would have told you you're crazy because I love doing stunts. But I didn't realize how challenging and rewarding doing dialogue can be. They all knew, but I didn't. And it's just as much fun for me, especially when I get offered roles like I had a part in a movie called Almost Mercy, and it was a very dark drama with a girl, very dark character who was kind of suicidal and murderous at the same time, and I was the only funny thing in the movie, which was very odd for me. I was a high school gym teacher, and when I first read it, it wasn't quite written this way, but I talked to the director and I thought, I think I should make this guy kind of like he used to be the star athlete when he was younger. He's not young anymore. He teaching PE, gym class at a high school, but he still thinks he's the shit. And I thought that would be a fun take on it, where I think I am so bitchin' in this movie to all the students, and I think I'm the best, and it just makes you cringe at the stuff I do and the way I talk, because I think I'm being cool, and it just makes the audience go, oh God, I know people like that. So it was fun to be just funny, and I end up getting killed in the end, but you know, I never thought I'd be offered parts like that. So now, you know, directors and writers and stuff are seeing that maybe try something new, and I love doing it.
Got a lot of personality, so you can tell.
I have a question.
Thank you very much.
With Death House and other films that you guys have been in, on average, how long is your initial filming?
It's
All
different.
Yeah.
It's all different between budgets
And your character.
and your character.
Be on for a day.
Yeah, you can be on for a day, and they can get all your scenes done in one location, and then in the movie, you're throughout. They've just, you know, shot
Yeah,
it
it's-
in that one place. You know.
They keep me on the whole.
Right.
Just for-
Yes.
Is it typical to shoot things out of order for a bigger budget film?
Yeah,
But I did 6 weeks of people on the stage.
yeah.
Yeah.
And how
I
long were
think
you
I
on?
did. I think I probably did the same.
Yeah, about 6 weeks.
Yeah, and I've done, like they're saying, one-day jobs on movies, and then Jason X I was on for 3 months.
Yeah.
That was
Jason
the biggest budget we had for any of the ones I did, so shot for 12 weeks, which is pretty long for a horror film.
Yeah, that is.
That is Yeah, yeah. But it's fun. You want to be on long.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Hopefully we'll work together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah,
cool.
that would be good.
Did any of you all have an opportunity to work with Gunnar Hansen before he passed on this project?
No.
Not on this one, no.
No. I spoke with him July of 2015. Harrison Smith, the writer and director of Death House, he and I were at Connecticut's Horror Fest, and we sat with him, and we were discussing Death House. And, you know, little did we know at that time that he was going to pass so soon. It just felt like, wow, out of the blue. But he was in such great spirits. He was such a beautiful and gentle man. He was so kind. He loved everyone. I don't know anyone who wasn't crazy about him. And this was his baby, you know. So it's like, it's just incredible that the film is made and he's in it. And we
I
actually,
was going to
well,
ask if we could talk about that he's in it.
yeah.
Oh,
Isn't that cool?
yeah, I didn't know that.
Gunner's in it.
Yeah.
No, we didn't start principal photography until after his death.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing.
It is amazing. And when we were shooting in LA, we called the project as just, you know, kind of an ode to him, Gunnar. So when you stepped in, remember the signs would say, like, if you walked in, it would say Gunnar. And so it was really, that was a beautiful kind of,
Tribute.
yeah, tribute and memory. Yeah. It's a great film. I mean, it's unique. It's different. And there's a lot of sci-fi. Like your stuff, it's so compelling. I think the story is mesmerizing. They just did things that I feel like we haven't seen yet. And that's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different shades of evil. Like we discussed before, it's the evil that Kane was talking about, evil he was talking about, and then there's this bunch of doctors who do the professional evil. That they don't act evil, but they do really evil things. So you get all the shades of evil. It's all this dark mass. But
And we're led by the two most evil doctors. Let's talk about them, Dee Wallace and Barbara Crampton. And they're so beautiful and stunningly angelic, and they're the creepiest characters in the movie. They make
Especially
Ken,
me, I think.
Yeah, D is great.
they make Kane look like a little kitty cat. Like they're so evil. And we have two young stars, Courtney Hahn and Cody Longo. How did you worked with them a lot?
You know what? I did, and I was impressed with both of them.
Yep.
I don't think they've done a whole lot, but Courtney, one of the first scenes I did with her, she ad-libbed something, which for me, I love when an actor comes up with something spontaneous.
Sure.
I mean, you know, sometimes it may not work, but what's the harm in trying it? And I'm in this, what do you call the chair that I'm in?
Yeah, that sick, twisted, sick mama.
Yeah, I'm strapped to a chair with all kinds of devices on my head and everything.
Awesome.
And she's supposed to come up and look at me closely, study me because I'm, you know, not really conscious, and supposed to back away. And you know, I know you're going to think I like this for another reason, but I just thought it was creative. She came up and then kissed me, and I thought, man, that is so fucking creepy,
Yeah.
weird, and you know, it adds to her character certainly. Why would you do something like that? But you know, I just like when actors do stuff like that.
Absolutely. I think, and I remember seeing footage as it was happening. Harrison would send it to me. And it was like, it's sort of, sometimes we forget, like, when we're acting, I mean, if you're really in it, you make these very human choices. Maybe she's attracted to the evil, and it was something sensual, and she just went with it, and it was like, it took everyone by surprise, but it was so beautiful and crazy creepy in the moment. Right?
Yeah, I mean, and you know, the flip side of that is, I don't know if you ever saw a movie I did called BTK, but I played him. He was a real serial killer in Kansas City. And I was doing a scene with a young actress, and unfortunately she was waiting to hear a word for her to respond with her next line. Instead of listening to what I was saying, she was listening for the last word that was scripted for me. So I happened to change it a little bit. I still said the exact same thing, but with different words. And she was completely lost.
That
You
sucks.
can't.
No, you can't. It doesn't matter. You need to be grounded in that and just like
Listening to what the person's saying.
Yeah.
not waiting
It's reacting,
for
right?
a cue word.
And sometimes it happens before you even get in front of the camera.
Right.
Like things you kind of hope that you're working with an actor who gives to you, and you're like, you know, crazy, and then boom, you're in front of the camera, and all of it comes out, and you're, you know, you're kind of. It's just fun to work with people who want to play.
Yeah.
And I think we can all say, like right here, we love that. You know, we like to experiment. It doesn't work. Throw the fucking words. Sorry.
It's a horror convention.
I didn't take the time to write these beautiful words and scripts, but we as actors like to kind of, you know, take our own spin from the character, right?
Right,
You
absolutely.
coach.
On Death House, that's exactly what Harrison did without Don.
He's great
He just,
like that.
it was all out. He just threw it out and said, "This is the scenario," and we just picked, you know, whatever we wanted to say at the moment,
Yeah.
like over and over again. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And usually you would see that from, you know, seasoned actors, people like us that have been around for a while. But when Courtney, I don't think has done that much.
Zombieverse.
But you know, and it was impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. She's,
And then, you know, I think I'm doing a panel for Smothered.
I think so.
It's a movie that John Schneider wrote and directed.
oh,
And it's a comedy, and I play myself in it, and it's quite funny. I think it's a great film. But he, because he's an actor, when he was directing it, would come up with stuff creatively on the fly also. Like, an example is, at the end of the movie, I realized who the killer is. Because it's all of us play ourselves as horror icon has-beens, RAs in it, and we go to a convention, nobody wants our autograph anymore, we're bitter, we get hired to haunt a trailer park for Halloween season for a little bit of money, so we said, hell yeah, let's go. And we'd start getting killed off in creative ways by a killer. So I at one point at the end of the movie, I realize who the killer is. I grab the killer's gun and I hold it on that person. And the killer has, I've had a mask that I've worn at the haunt for the trailer park. And the killer has glued it to my face, put some super glue in. I put it on, now it's stuck to my face. And
Like the
I have the gun. The killer has helped me. Supposedly he tried to get the mask off by pouring gas on it all over my face. It didn't get the mask off, but now I'm doused in gasoline. And I have a gun, and I say, you know, I'm pointing it at the killer. The killer says, "Go ahead and shoot. You'll just set yourself on fire." And that was the scene. And then we did it once like that, and then Schneider came to me and said, "I have an idea. What if the killer says this?" And I was like, wow, it's brilliant. And you guys know that I've been burned doing a fire stunt way back. So now the killer says, "Go ahead and shoot. You'll just set yourself on fire." You should know something about that, shouldn't you, Kane? And just with that extra line made you hate the killer even more,
Yeah.
and sympathetic to me with just a few words. And, you know, I thought Schneider was brilliant with that kind of stuff. And he did it more than once, too. He made it so personal.
Now I've got a vision in my head of Bo Duke running through a trailer park killing everybody.
He's in the movie, but he's not killing anyone.
Flaming arrow.
Yeah.
It's great when you have directors who, you know, want to play as well with the actors and they're not staunch on, you have to hit that hard, you can do that, and we've all been there.
Now, Harrison was great though.
Yeah, it was very
Yeah,
relaxed.
he's amazing. He's
Yeah.
amazing.
It was very good. Very good experience.
And then I think when it's a director that is confident in their own ability, they will give you that.
Right. They're not afraid of it.
Yes,
You know,
that's
it's the insecure ones.
I got to work with Clint Eastwood, and that's all he did.
Wow.
Was just let you.
yeah, very cool.
Yeah. He, that's all he did was just give you the situation and let you go with it. So it was really fun. He was very relaxed and just not worried about any of it.
I like all your Twister stories.
Yeah.
His name, what's
Jan de Bont.
And how, tell us about the
He's,
hail.
what's that?
The hailstorm.
There's a hailstorm. We were just talking about the perils of working with Jan, you know, and people were saying CGI versus real. And in Twister, we had a scene where there's hail, and we're all trying to deal with it. And all they had was an ice machine shooting out pieces of ice. But it was just like, and they were so, it wasn't like a specific size, like some would shoot out that were huge. And so I'm on top of this van just going, and there's like, more fucking ice, more ice, more ice, more ice. Shoot the ice. And all of a sudden I'm, you know, doing the radar thing, and all of a sudden just something hits my head, and it just boom, and it was so big, and I just go, and I like got dizzy and fell off the top of the van, fell off. And they go, "Sean, keep shooting, keep shooting. Fucking Sean, just climb in the van and it'll finish. Just go, just go." And all this shit, and I remember, felt my head. There was blood and everything. And then, like, and I was like, "Oh my God, do we have to do it again?" And he goes, No, I didn't even fucking see you. That was a guy who loved actors.
We get those a lot.
Yeah, we get those sometimes.
Yeah.
But that movie was totally about action and not about the acting.
Usually don't even see you.
I know. You don't know if I can see you. Someone go to bed on his fucking head. We gotta shoot him.
My buddy Rick, who's a stuntman that I've been working with since '81, he and I co-founded the Hollywood Ghost Hunters. He worked with Clint on J. Edgar.
Okay.
And he was playing, you know, he had a Tommy gun and he was going to gun down some cops or something in the scene, first day on the set. And, he's ready to go. Him and another stunt guy are going to shoot their guns, and they roll cameras, and everybody's waiting, and Rick is waiting. And then all of a sudden he hears, "Cut!" And it's Clint. And he walks over, he says, "Why didn't you shoot?" And he goes, "Oh," and both of them say, "Oh, we didn't hear action. we're just waiting for action. And Clint says, I don't call action on my sets. Guess I should have told you that. He doesn't even call action. He lets the actors go on their own. At least now, anyway.
I've seen an interview with, I can't remember who it was. Somebody said they worked with Clint Eastwood, and he said whenever they go, he just goes like this, and that means they're rolling.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
And just lets them go. Because
Yeah, it's
I've heard that he did that because old westerns, whenever somebody would yell action, it would startle the horses, and the horses would start moving. So ever since then, whenever he moved from an actor to a director, he
Yeah.
just never yelled.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
He was great to work with.
Other than Clint, obviously, who's another director that you guys would love to work with that you haven't worked with, or other actors that you would love to work with that you haven't worked with?
I've been saying it for years, but I've been wanting to work with Adam Green. He's just like my, somebody. Yeah, well, he obviously. I admire him. I remember when Hatchet came out, the first Hatchet, and it was like, it blew my mind. I was just blown, to pieces by the creativity and the change. He sort of, turned. When there are certain directors who've turned the genre, like Wes Craven, and but Adam certainly with Hatchet took it from like we were getting a little, exploitative and crazy with certain, the way the slashers were going, and he brought the fun, let's say, and so I've always wanted to work with him, and I recently got to do the Scary Sleepover, which I love. Scary. I saw his, and I was like, sign me up, please. And I met him a year ago at Rock and Chalk, and I've been fortunate to be in touch with him. But yeah, one day I really want to work with him. So
It'll happen.
Yeah, Wes is another.
Only a matter of time, right?
Yeah. Wes is another one of those. I know we can both agree on that. That's just unbelievable guy. Just all heart.
Yeah, such a great guy.
He's such. When you see the movies, it's the same like we did on the the Death House shooting versus backstage. He's exactly like that as a director. He's like a sweet, loving man. Or he was, God
He was
bless his soul.
amazing. Yeah.
But that's not what you see on screen. But
Yeah.
it's just the best. And he let us do. He added pages for my character every day. He just came in. I got something else.
Yeah.
And then like in the morning, I got something else for you. Like, what do you think about this? And then he just let us go too. Like especially with Brendan, he was he was only 11 years old. So he like took him on like a father almost.
Yeah.
And he's like, Jan, I trust you now. Take care of this kid. So like whenever we rehearsed, he just dropped him to me, and if it didn't work, like one scene we did, me and Brendan together. In the end, it was supposed to be all dramatic, and he showed me how to get out of the house. And he just couldn't get it right. He was just a little too stiff, a little too kid. So he just said, "Okay, let's take a break." He took Brendan's hand and he ran two times around the studio, jogging. And then they came back in the door and he yelled, "Action!" And he just let him go, and he ran up to me and we just shut it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
what about the part where he said, "What about the women"?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Oh yeah, that's the part. That's that
He
scene.
was like,
That's that scene.
"Get
We
out
took
of the house
it
because
like
there's women."
we took it like 20 times, and he just couldn't. He was so like a little nervous, and he just ran. They were gone for like 15 minutes running around the studio, and they came back, and he was all sweaty. Wes was like all tired, and like "Action!" And he just shut it.
It was great.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to work with Spielberg, I'm sure.
Oh.
Oh, who doesn't? Yeah.
That guy?
Yeah. Well, I got to work with my big heroes were Ang Lee, and I got to work with him, and Tim Burton. I got to work with him. So those were and Tom Hanks. He directed
What was
this
Tim
movie.
Burton like?
Tim Burton was awesome. He was so cool.
Was he communicative?
Very much so. He was
He's
so
like-
great, and he just cares about. He cares about characters so much.
I would be like, "Hey, where are you?"
He was just so friendly and so caring.
Yeah.
He was just so friendly and so caring, and yeah. Well, what the story was, they hired me. I was in Batman Returns, the one with Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman and stuff. And
Oh, please, hang on.
That's just
Who is it? Who is it?
okay, stop.
Hello, Sean Wellens.
Who is it?
So I was on the set as a paper boy in Batman Returns, and they'd come around and keep showing like I was the voice of the city, and I was hired in October, and they said, well, we're just going to hold you, because Tim said he may use you again, and they held me through February. So I was getting a paycheck from Batman Returns every week, and they didn't hold me. That means I could go do work. I did a couple shows, a few commercials, all while getting a paycheck from the movie, and then they ended up not using me. And so I remember going to the wrap party, and he's like, hey, and he was standing at the door greeting everybody, and he goes, hey, it's Sean Whalen. And I go, yeah, and he said, the reason why the accounting department at Warner Brothers hates my fucking guts.
That's awesome.
He was so awesome. Yeah. And I was like, he was like, yeah, I should have drunk you earlier. It's like, dude, it's all good with me. Awesome. He was super cool.
That's great.
Yeah, he was amazing. But you find that though. The higher you go up, the cooler people are.
And Chuck Russell's another one like that I work with. That's a really, really good guy. We did Blessed Child together with Kim Basinger and Rufus Sewell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with that movie was they were so behind, and he got so much shit from everyone, the studio and everything else, and he just kept his cool. And you know, they kept Rufus in Toronto for 7 months before he started shooting. Same situation with him, but he couldn't go home. He was stuck in a hotel room for 7 months. He hadn't even shot one frame yet. He's like, Rufus was
That
very
was
happy
the
about it.
that's the way that was in Twister.
Yeah,
There's a lot of people that just stay in Oklahoma because they changed the location every day because they wanted us to shoot in bad weather. We had an on-set weatherman tracking the storms, so if there was a storm, we'd go there. They wanted us to be near the storms, so they'd save money on special effects. And I was on the good guy team, thank God, because we went to work almost every day. The guys that were on the bad guy team, they just had to stay in this little town in Oklahoma and not leave. They couldn't go to LA. They were always on hold. And there were some guys, I remember seeing some guys like, dude, it's going to be okay. Like 3 months into it, I remember going to the movie theater, and I was like, poor dude, who's that? It was this guy with like a scraggly beard, like playing a video game, and I was like, what's up? And it was my friend Nick Sadler, and he was like, what's up? And I go, dude, have you shot? He goes, no. I've been here for 6 weeks. You got a quarter? It's okay, dude. Here's a quarter. Here's 3 quarters. But I was so thrilled, like, you know, to be able to work and go to the set. Because it's hard. It's hard. People say, I did Lost, and people are like, you got to go to Hawaii. Well, you can't do anything in Hawaii. You're in Hawaii, and they told us we're not allowed to take surfing lessons. We weren't allowed to do scuba diving for insurance purposes. And so you're sitting on a beach surrounded by people with their friends, their family, their lovers, you know, and you're all by yourself. So.
Aw, that's so sad.
But it's weird.
You're
It's
shooting
weird.
Lost in Hawaii. I feel.
No, I'm just saying, it's just a weird.
Fucking working out.
It's just a weird feeling to like.
I wish
be
you
stuck
knew
sitting
later.
there. But no, it's amazing.
Okay.
Another director that it was fun to work with was Tony Scott. I did some big
Yeah.
action movies with him. One being Enemy of the State with Will Smith and Gene Hackman. I was on that thing the whole time, just as one of the stunt people. And Tony was known for doing what he called, and I don't know if it's really a term, but French lunch,
Yeah.
where the cast and crew never breaks for lunch,
Right.
which is great for the cast, because if we weren't involved in a shop, we could go sit down and have lunch as the stunt people, just like we would normally, but we were never off the clock. So we went into OT much sooner, and you know, with stunt people, your overtime is computed on what you're making for the day plus your stunt adjustment. So your daily amount can be very high, and then the overtime is ridiculous, and you know, he never broke for lunch. So every single day, and you know, he smoked cigars, Monte Cristos, which are very expensive Cuban cigars. Probably not so much anymore, but he would smoke them down about a third and toss them and start another one. And that's, you know, like an $80 cigar or something.
Any other questions?
Is there any certain methods you guys use or don't use to get in and out of character? Or can you just go in and do it?
Great question.
Depends on the character a lot.
I think, I mean, if I can just take
Yeah, go.
this, I think people perceive, actors as prima donnas and, oh, they go to their trailers, they're pampered, but it is tough. I mean, we work really, really hard from way before we're even stepping onto the set. We're, creating the world of these people that you see on screen, and it's not always easy. It's really difficult, and especially in the genre, because most of the time we're emulating a type of reality and life that we don't do in reality and life. So I might be running from someone, and you're conjuring up all of this emotion and this, exhaustion in your body from just, being nervous. I recently played a character that's, she's batshit crazy out of her mind, and it was exhausting. At the end of the day, I was like, half the character was like, I need a massage, I have to go, because all day long we're on this kind of like elevated, kind of emotional, I don't know what you want to call it, like, stream. And
Yeah.
Sean coaches me, so it's like,
We'd be exhausted just after a coach.
There's different.
you're
Yes,
tired. You're like, is this
Yeah.
the world? And what is it? And why do you see that? And what does that mean? And you have to go there. And why? And you question everything.
Well,
And
you have to believe it.
Yeah,
you have
sometimes.
to believe it. And in
Sometimes
front
you go
of the
deep and you have to do different things.
You
Like
go
the,
deep.
the
You go-
first movie I did in the U.S. was Slumber Party Massacre 3 with Roger Corman, and I was homeless. And obviously, I wanted to do the most amazing job I could get on the first film with Roger. So I lived on bus benches in Venice Beach for like 3-4 days, and that was trippy. To beg for money when you used to be on the other side and you see people spit at you and stuff was weird.
Yeah.
Like some people can be quite rude.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it does depend.
It's a
'cause
different
on
perception.
comedies, you can have like more fun.
Of course.
But you have to do. But I did NYPD Blue, and Dennis Franz was yelling at me in the interrogation room with Dennis Franz, who I don't know if you guys know the show or people remember the show.
Yeah.
But he's in the room, with his little tie, like yelling at me, and I'm getting interrogated and freaking out and stuff like that. And I only was working for 3 hours, but I remember I went home and slept for like 7 hours because it's such an intense thing. And plus, you're sitting there going, "Holy shit! I'm with Dennis Franz in NYPD Blue right now. This is crazy." And yet you can't do that. You can't sit there and go, blah, blah. You gotta just stay in the scene, and be.
I do that.
He was the most generous. He was literally the nicest actor I've ever worked with. He came. We did a whole few takes, and he came over and he said, "I need to apologize to you." He goes, "I have a little bit of a cold, and I'm getting over it. And so I hope I wasn't, I hope you were getting everything you needed from me." And this is when he's off camera, and that's so generous and kind, So he just cared about actors and wanted them all to be good. So.
I'm gonna use the microphone. It's here.
Yeah.
Except for my foot's asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should all use it, but anyway, it kind of segues into what you're all talking about. Can you guys, especially now, Kane, when you're doing, you're acting, you're being characters other than, I guess, I don't want to say a one note, you brought so much personality to Jason, but I'm saying, as, you're acting with other people with dialogue and whatnot, can you guys talk about how, some actors' refusal to be in the shot, out of frame whenever you guys are doing the two coverage? Yeah, your experience with actors that were like, I'm going to go back to my trailer and do whatever, versus actors that will stay on set and help you in the scene?
It's becoming more rare. I don't think people do that as much anymore. I mean, they don't. It doesn't serve anybody. Sometimes they have to, because it's all about call times and times when people have to leave and stuff like that. So sometimes people have to go home so they can be the first one in the morning, and then you have to do that. But I don't experience that very often.
Oh, really?
Very often. Even Kim Basinger, when I did Best of Child, stayed the whole time. And
Yeah.
I worked the whole day. Chuck, he shoots like a quarter page a day. So we did my half was one whole day, and she just she waited the whole
that means
day.
that's not a lot.
Yeah, it's very little actually. Yeah.
Yeah. They may not know that, like, a
Yeah,
quarter
yeah,
page,
no, no.
usually you start several pages, but yeah, it's like Dennis Franz was off camera from it, but he was apologizing. He wanted to give it as much as he gave when he was shooting on his side versus the other side. And you help people when you did that. I mean, after Death House, there was a part that I lost my voice shooting it, and I couldn't do it. And then there was a scene with
Barbara Crampton.
not Barbara Crampton, the young girl, Courtney, and they said, Sean, don't worry, you don't have to use your voice, and because it didn't have me in it, but I knew she needed to feel my energy in the scene with my voice, and even though I was like I could barely think about it, I just kept saying, give me tea, give me tea, give me tea, and then she got a real reaction because I fully used my voice and screamed in her face, and it was great because it wouldn't have gotten that reaction if you don't. So everybody's very generous and cares. Usually when you show up.
There's those rules, the exception, but they're.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often.
I didn't want specific names. I was just curious. How's, you know,
I'm just saying
I imagine
it
Kane
doesn't
probably
happen.
wants to break somebody's neck when they do that.
I've never run into that.
Even as
That's
an
good.
actress myself, like I will always stay. Even if they're like, listen, we need you to go get into like makeup or whatever, I always stay because it is so important. And it does change the face of what that other character is feeling or seeing, or I mean, it's just like in
Just because
life.
the camera's not on you, the scene is
It's
still the same.
important.
The scene is still the same.
And we do change by whatever the give and take is. Just anything in life,
Yeah.
you know, it has to be authentic. So I would hope, you know, I've only come into circumstances working with actors, or I keep them in the face. Right? We didn't have a scene in Death House.
I didn't work with any of these
I
guys.
worked with Jan.
Yeah, we were.
Oh,
We
you
were in
worked
the scene
together.
Yeah.
Kane did my stunts for Charm. Remember that?
Yeah.
Charm. That's right. I was on fire in
But
it.
you guys look exactly alike.
It was a big explosion, so I think it was the back only or something.
Wow. Really?
On a TV show, I was on fire, so they barely used it
Wow.
because it's too scary.
Hi.
Hi there. I just wanted to ask, I've worked 10 years in call centers, so after 10 years, I don't talk to people on the phone when I'm not at work. So as actors, do y'all still enjoy the thrill of going to the theater and seeing other movies, seeing the things that you're in?
Love it.
Absolutely. This is a story from yesterday.
Yeah. So we flew in together, and I'm like, rarely do I want to watch a movie on a plane because I'm trying to catch up on sleep. So I decided, let me look at what's playing, and it was Me Before You.
It's a British film.
Has anybody seen it?
And
So-
I was working. I told her, I said,
He's like,
"You're
I'm
gonna watch it."
busy. Go watch your movie. So I'm like, okay, I'm watching it. And I watch the movie.
And then I say, oh, is it good? I'll watch it after you're done.
And it's over, and I'm like, like I'm practically having a panic attack. He's like,
And
okay, I'll
I
watch
didn't
it.
say, yeah, so I watched
He watches, and I decide to watch
the last.
the last half with him. And I look over because I wanted to see his reaction, and he's like,
And it's like,
and I'm like, it's okay, baby.
and because we're
We know what they went.
No, but it's also, you're just a fan. If you're in movies and want to do this, you have to be a fan of this work.
Oh,
And we love to see
riveting.
it. And
Has
you
anyone
don't like,
seen it?
no one's sitting there going, oh, I wonder what shot that is or whatever. You just get lost in the
But he
story.
hated watching it when I wasn't watching it with him because I go.
No,
hold
yeah.
the earphone
She-
out,
she'd
it's like,
buy that.
Isn't that a beautiful
Yeah.
scene?
No, this is what she literally did. I'm looking, watching the movie, and she literally goes like this. Wait, you gotta watch this. That's exactly what I am doing.
The cinematography in that shot is fucking amazing.
And I'm like, you're like the old Italian grandmother at the fucking, will you shut up? Someone give her medication. And then when we got to the end, and then like this part that I didn't know know that she had cried because when she was watching the end, I didn't want to see it. So then I'm like getting all this, and she's like, I know. And we're both holding each other. And this woman next to us by the window is kind of like, we're just like, So the answer is we love movies. Yeah, we love movies. Just love them. I mean, every time you go.
And I think I can speak for all of us. When we watch, we can see the whole crew. I'm like, is the boom in the shot?
Yes, or if the story's compelling enough, you forget all of that. You know what I mean? You just get taken.
Yeah.
And it's not hard to switch. You know? Yes, sir.
Who are some of y'all's favorite actors or actresses y'all admire?
I mean,
Working with or just watching?
just
watching.
Meryl Streep is still like America's kind of treasure. I never really was like, ugh, Meryl Streep. But as she's gotten older and done, I just go that she's just.
You know who I
she's
think is the
amazing.
best actress? The best? Naomi Watts. I think her performance in Just Mulholland Drive is one of the most powerful, riveting, authentic performances I ever watched. I think she's just there. She's just in funny games. I mean, it's like, bitch, how do you do that? Like, it's hard to be real because the truth is when we are working, there's a camera in our face, there's, a crew, everybody's quiet, everyone's at the monitor, so you're self-conscious anyway, everybody's watching the camera right on your face, up your nose, in your pimple, on your head, and it's hard, it's like, shh, quiet on the set, and you're like, can I remember that line? Shit, and so it's hard, so when you see people, actors who do it with such ease, it is quite amazing.
Tom Hardy recently
Yeah,
in Revenant.
absolutely.
I thought he was unbelievable.
I personally really enjoyed DiCaprio.
Yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely. One of the best of all time.
He's gotten better. He's gotten a lot better. You look at his early stuff and what he's doing now, it's just incredible.
In Blood Diamond, I did a movie in South Africa for a couple months, American Ninja 2. And that's a tricky accent to perfect as an actor because so many people tend to make it an English version, and it's really not. It's a very specific accent. I think he nailed it, and then, Revenant and all the other stuff. I think he's just incredibly gifted.
Gilbert Grape was unbelievable.
He was.
That was one of his first movies.
Aviator is massively underrated. His performance in that.
I think you grow though. I don't know, maybe you guys can help me with this. I think the reason we love certain actors is because I think they're comfortable in their skin in real life. Like, I think it has to do with how fluid you are, both emotionally.
It's like I really like De Niro in the comedies he's doing.
Yeah.
He's more natural in the comedies than he ever was before. Now he just goes in and he just performs.
But someone new like a Jennifer Lawrence, I think when you watch her off screen, she's quirky and fun and she looks like she doesn't give a shit. And I think that she's at ease in front of the camera because she's kind of very thorough in just kind of going, She's like, let me just try. I can just see her in front of the camera, just go, let me run, let me have fun, let me make out with Amy Adams. That was her choice that she just wanted to like Courtney Kong. They just make choices that are cool and fun and interesting.
And I got to work with Charlize Theron on Monster for the entire shoot. And there were very few, it was a very small crew. That was only a 4-week shoot.
Really?
And
That's
I was
insanity.
the stunt coordinator on it, so I had to be there every day in case she came up with some action that needed to be, safety or whatever. But I also played the cop at the end of the movie, undercover cop that basically arrests her. And it was so amazing. This is where I think I started learning the craft of acting, watching her. Because there weren't very many people on the set, first of all, and everybody else that was there had a job to do. most days I didn't have to do anything except watch and make sure if she came up with something that it would be safe. So I could really watch her prepare. You know, everybody else is doing a job and distracted, but I could watch her off the set preparing for a scene and doing things that I was like, wow, that's how she got. Just
She's brilliant.
yeah, and you know, just at the end where we shot the scene in a bar in Fort Lauderdale, and somebody said, you know, this is the bar where Eileen Wuornos was arrested. I said, what? We're shooting in the exact location where Charlize's character was arrested. And I said, wait a minute. And I went to the owner and I said, how long have you owned this place? And he said, for a long time. I said, so I was just told this is where Eileen Wuornos was arrested. He said, yeah, I was here. And I said, oh shit. So what we're shooting, how close is it to what really happened? He said, it's exactly what happened. Two undercover guys got her at the bar and convinced her to go outside so they could arrest her so she wouldn't cause a commotion with all the bikers. And we walked out and I handcuffed her behind the back and I said, you know, the next shot is I'm throwing you in the back of the squad car. And she goes, yeah, I just want you to throw me in head first. I said, okay, I just want to tell you something. She goes, just throw me in. I said, okay. I tried to tell you. I don't know if any of you have ever been in the back of a recent police vehicle, but typically it's a hard plastic seat so that if there's any blood or anything, it's easy to clean off. It's a cushion seat. So I was trying to tell her that, and she didn't realize it. She's handcuffed like this, and I'm throwing her in head first. And so I did it just like she said. I threw her in there, and then they cut, and she got out and said, oh, I see what you were trying to tell me. She goes, well, I appreciate you trying, but I wouldn't let you. But, you know,
I got to work with Philip Seymour Hoffman on Twister. And I met Charlize on That Thing You Do. So fun, so nice, so sweet. She's a nice person, but Philip Seymour Hoffman was great to watch him, you know,
yeah,
work. He was amazing to watch, but so funny. He was so funny. And if you watch Along Came Polly, like where he's the goofy friend or whatever, he's so funny in that. That's like a fifth of how funny he was. The funniest story that I have about him is we're driving around. My friend lived in Iowa, and we were shooting in Iowa. My friend is a med student, and so Phil and I, and this guy named Joey Slotnick and Jeremy Davies, who was also in Lost and stuff. We would drive around and go antique shopping because there's great antiques in the middle of the country. So we drive around and we came back and we got out of this car. My friend who lives in Iowa got out of the car and he said, Phil, this has been a wonderful day, but, and I said, well, what's the matter? He goes, I haven't made love to one of you. And I said, that should be remedied. And so I bent over, and he just grabbed my jeans and starts going, and my friend from Iowa goes, stop that shit, people don't think that's funny here. You can do that in LA as a joke, but you can't fucking do this in Iowa. And he's going, and his face is turning already. He's like, thanks, Sean. Now the day is perfect. My friend from Iowa was like, not funny, dude. We were going to get our asses kicked. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Crazy actors.
We have any more questions? Okay, do you all have anything you'd like to say about the movie? Do you have any idea when they're projecting a release date?
First quarter?
Yeah, definitely. It's finished, and we're just putting in the music now. It's this week. Next week, it will be complete. So I'd say, yeah, it's locked picture, we call it, and early 2017, you will see this movie.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
All right.
Today. This has been a great way to kick off Scarefest. Let's give them a round of applause.